So how do you get your insurance company to pay for your water damage claim? So if you're new at these videos, or if you've seen any of my videos in the past, and most recently over the last year or so, I've been talking about these insurance companies are not paying claims. And there's more lawsuits than ever. And more claims are getting denied more than ever. And people are getting paid lower than ever. So let's find out, how do we get these insurance companies? How do you as a homeowner, if you're going to try and handle it yourself, how do you get them to pay? So my name's Mike Keeler. I'm your favorite and only YouTube public adjuster. I am licensed in the state of Florida. If you don't know what a public adjuster is, we represent homeowners, property owners in a claim so that they can rightfully try and get the money that they're duly owed based on the contract. The contract is your insurance policy. So you don't want to call the insurance company right away as soon as you find the water damage, because there are a few other things that you want to try to figure out. Let's talk about that. So you want to find out where the water is coming from, what's going on, what caused the water leak, and then get it fixed ASAP, which means calling a plumber. Okay? That's going to be the first thing you do. So again, don't run off to the insurance company, because not every water damage claim is covered. You don't want to have the mark on your record. Okay, yes, there's a record. There's something called CLUE, C-L-U-E. This is known as a comprehensive loss underwriting exchange. It's basically like Experian or TransUnion, the credit report bureaus, how credit card companies or anybody, when you get a loan, they look to see your credit history. This is the exact same thing. Okay, it will report any and all claims that you have had, whether you've been paid or not paid. And it gives a risk assessment to the insurance company based on the year of your house, how old it is, and the claims that you have filed. So you had the plumber come out, found the leak, found that you have some water damage, wherever it might be, baseboards, drywall, floors. Do you now call the water mitigation company? So what does a water mitigation company do? Okay. Well, here in Florida, they will come out, bring their machines, and dry it out so it doesn't turn into mold. It only takes a couple days here in Florida. And if you're in other hot areas during the summer, as we are in now, it's only going to take a couple days for it to get moldy. But Florida, it goes extremely fast because of the moisture and humidity. So when should you call water mitigation company? You know, it really depends on the amount of water damage that you have. So what can you expect from them? Well, they're going to document everything. So what you tell them, they may document. Okay? Now, in most states, including Florida, if your claim is denied, you will owe the water mitigation company yourself. So this is why you got to be careful and know when to bring in a water mitigation company. Now, if there's mold in Florida, sometimes these water mitigation companies will use a certain mold tester or assessor and then refer it to a mold company for what they call mold remediation. And they will give you a protocol. Protocol will be what they need to do to rid your home of the mold. So I'm just going over some background things, and we're going to talk about how you can actually try to get the insurance company to pay for the water damage. But these things are important, so that's why I started with this rather than get into the grand finale right away. So if your leak is long-term, you're going to run into some issues. People have a tendency to say, I didn't realize the leak was there. I didn't know how long it was there. Now, anything long term is not covered. So if it just happened, it's covered, right? So this is going to define whether the insurance company pays for the claim. Now, in the eyes of the insurance company and the insurance adjuster who comes to your house, signs of long-term damage includes any type of wood rot, mold, warping of the floors, buckling of the floors, cabinets, etc. Okay? Long-term, the exact language in the policy, in almost every policy is this: repeated or constant, seepage or leakage is not covered. Now, the part of the water damage definition that is covered in the policy: sudden or accidental discharge or overflow from a plumbing, air conditioner, fire protective system. Okay? The key words: sudden, right? And accidental. Those are the key words. So a big pitfall that I see, quite common from people when they're trying to handle a claim on their own, is they'll tell the insurance company one of two things: I don't know when it started leaking, or I didn't know it was leaking. I didn't have any idea it was leaking. That doesn't help. That makes matters worse, because the insurance company is going to try and say it's long term, and they're going to use you as your own witness. Because if you didn't know when it started leaking, or you didn't know, period, that it was leaking at all, then that means you didn't know if it was long term or not. This is going to get your claim denied. Okay? Not knowing when it started leaking, and any evidence of what the insurance company perceives to be long term, is going to be the nail in the coffin. Not knowing. Okay? You didn't know when to start. Trying to guess, it doesn't really help either. And I know this situation pertains to a lot of people. Listen, I know that. But I'm just giving you where it's covered and where it's not covered. So let's get into what you need to do to get the claim paid. This is what you're here for. This is what you're watching a video for, right? So we talked about the plumber. Get him to write on his invoice what he repaired, what he replaced. That's it. Okay? The water mitigation company. If you have a lot of water damage, then yes, bring in a water mitigation company, because they will help document everything, which will help your case. If they try to, and I would prepare all the time for their potential usage of the word or the phrase, this is a long-term leak. Get your water bill. Print it up. If the water bill is consistent every month, them arguing that it's a long-term leak becomes more difficult. Okay? Don't do any repairs, obviously, until the leak has been found. Don't do any repairs until the insurance company has had a chance to inspect the property. Continuing, I strongly advise videotaping the inspection. And remember, the insurance company, the adjuster, works for the insurance company. Okay? So, a lot of times, these guys, the adjusters, mess up on some things that you can pick up by video. Okay? So, we've been through all those scenarios where you had the plumber come in, water mitigation. The insurance company is going to write their estimate. Now, it's going to be low, but they're going to be writing their own estimate. All that is what they believe the damage is to be. And remember, they will write a low estimate. So then, if you're trying to do the claim yourself, And if it's anything over 20,000, I don't advise it, but you could try. Things can go bad and you could risk it all, but if that's, what you as a homeowner want to do, that's your prerogative. So you had the plumber come out, water mitigation, try to get a couple contractors' estimates to do the repair. Okay? When the adjuster does come to your house, be prepared for the questions that they're going to ask at your home or in a recorded statement. If you initially reported a claim and you said you didn't know when the leak was, be prepared for questions, something like this. The adjuster will ask when you bought the house. Okay? Do you have any inspection reports from when the house was bought, if it's been bought in the last couple years? They're going to ask you, when did you first notice a leak? Have you had any issues with this plumbing before? Who is the plumbing company and or plumber that's been coming for any maintenance or calls or any issues that you've had? These are some of the questions they're going to ask. Okay? That's why it's important nowadays that you have somebody to represent you. But I realize that not everybody is going to heed my advice and everybody else's advice, and they're going to try and handle it themselves, and that's okay. But just realize you are at risk of a lot of financial endangerment. Don't forget to like this video, click the little thumbs up button, and also subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this. So if you know the way a company does something, or you know what their playbook is, or you know what they're going to do or how they're going to do it, you're ahead of the ball game. So if they happen to make a payment after everything that we just talked about, I am telling you, there is a 95% chance that any payment they're going to make these days is going to be something lower, pretty low, and lower than what you can get any of the repairs done for. So how do you handle that? Well, that's where you come back to your contractor's estimate if it's not that great of an amount. In other words, if the damages aren't that great. What do you say to the insurance company? Well, you send them an email. Dear Mr. Claim Adjuster, thank you for the payment of $12,000. However, my contractor has come up with an estimate of $29,000. It's at this time that I'm demanding full settlement in the amount of $17,000 since you already paid the $12,000. Okay? It's kind of how you do it. So why do they make these low payments? Because they just want to see if you're going to accept the money and then figure that's all you can get. That's what they do it. So you're going to use your contractor's estimate. Now they are going to basically shove off the contractor's estimate as if he or she doesn't know what the heck they're doing. And they're going to refer to their estimate. Their estimates are never right. Ever. Ever, 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 never. They're not. So let's say that stalls and you can't get anywhere for the additional money. Your state may have something called mediation. You might have what's called an appraisal clause, or you're just simply going to have to sue them. So let's wrap this up. Whether you have a water leak from a pipe or a water line, the plumber should be the first person that you call. Second, if there's a lot of water damage, would be the water mitigation company. And if there isn't a lot of water damage and you don't call them, either way, the next step would be calling the insurance company. Okay. If you don't need the water mitigation company, you go from step 1 to calling the insurance company. Step 2, if If you need water mitigation, step 1, have water mitigation do their thing. You can actually call the claim in during the water mitigation's work. And then once that happens and water mitigation's gone, you bring in your contractor. Wait until the water mitigation's done. Have your contractor give you a price. This is if you're handling it yourself, which again, I don't advise, but send the estimate to the insurance company. If they made a payment, tell them where the difference is. Have maybe your contractor help you dissect everything. The insurance company is going to stick to their guns, thinking that their estimate by their field adjuster is 100% correct. It is always not correct. It is never correct. They intentionally and purposely forget things, measure wrong, things of that nature. That's why it's important to videotape. And, final point, if they come in and a couple weeks go by, request the estimate. If they say they didn't do an estimate, your claim's going to get denied. So again, my name is Mike Keeler, licensed public adjuster here in the state of Florida. If you have any questions, need help with a claim, this is my information. Thank you very much for watching this video.